This 16-year-old boy has been remanded into custody, charged with the murder of Harry Pitman. This is in North London on New Year's Eve. I mean, it's just an awful story. He went there to watch the fireworks. He went with friends and very sadly died. As young people yourselves, what on earth is going wrong in this country?
Well, it's appalling. It's such a tragic case. I think it's an example of, well, it's the result of lots of things. It's a result of cuts to police. You know, there's a much lesser presence of police on the streets now. I think it's evidence of a lack of support for troubled young people. You know, we don't have as many youth clubs. We don't have as much support in schools anymore because of cuts to funding. And ultimately, the fabric of society frays at that point, and we see more and more instances of these sorts of tragic cases occurring when you don't have a support system to catch people before they commit these terrible offences, before they go down that route of crime.
Or are we not tough enough when we do catch these boys and they're carrying machetes and knives? Are we not tough enough on the punishment they get at that point so they don't go out next week with another one and kill someone?
Well, you have to catch them first.
But
if you don't have enough police on the streets, then
certainly when I was growing up, it seems a rite of passage to carry a machete now. I mean, that would never have happened. Well, as far as I'm aware, it would be incredibly rare to happen 3,000 years ago when I grew up. Andy, what is going on?
I think just in fairness, you know, I grew up in the East Midlands near Nottingham, and Nottingham was nicknamed Shottingham throughout the 60s, 70s and 80s. So yeah. I think, you know, there have always been these presences. In London, it was the Crays and the gangs of South London. So there has always been a presence of violence within young people.
But not like this.
I know. Going to Primrose Hill, it's
Primrose Hill is a very affluent part of London. You have a view over London. That's why people went there. He went there for a night out to watch the fireworks, and he never came home.
I think it's a combined failure between Tory Britain and Khan's London. Honestly, I think it's a combined failure. They failed young people.
I think there's a really interesting point here, which was I was reading this morning about the number of police stations that have closed down, and you cannot find a police station now. Certainly in East London, I can't find.
You can't in North London either. In fact, quite close to Primrose Hill, Hampstead, Belsize Park, those police stations went quite some time ago. They're luxury flats now.
And so why is that? Why have we actually decided that we no longer need that visible police presence? Because I agree, when you have 15 minutes of police presence, you reduce violent crime by 70%.
It's cuts. That is cuts.
Yeah, it is cuts. Absolutely. I mean, this is what happens when you cut police numbers. There isn't a magic solution where you can cut funding to the police, cut the number of police officers, and still have the same level of ability to tackle crime. You know, if you're, you know, going out with a machete and you're, you know, you want to commit a crime, you're going to be much less emboldened to do that if you see a visible police presence in places like Primrose Hill, for example.
So that was a good admission from you that you think it's a failure of the Conservative government, also the London Mayor. The London Mayor is a Labour Mayor. Yeah. How much of a problem is Sadiq Khan for Keir Starmer?
I don't think he's a problem per se. You know, I think they have certain disagreements on policies that have been aired over the last few years. You know, a couple of months ago there was an issue on ULEZ, but I think Sadiq Khan doesn't disagree that there is a problem with knife crime. I don't think Keir Starmer disagrees that there's a problem with knife crime.
But London streets have never been so unsafe.
He blamed it on mobile phones. I mean, that's how seriously he's taken this issue. He blamed the problem on mobile phone manufacturers for making their phones too enticing.
Yeah. Well, I think many in the Labour Party are hoping that this London mayoral election's coming up in May 2nd. You know, it's not that far away, 4 months. You know, the risk of you know, Jeremy Corbyn and Susan Hall and a few other candidates coming in. You know, it's not going to be as safe for Labour as it once was. So hopefully, a lot of people are hoping that it'll squeeze him, get him into line, and really get in touch with the people in London.
Are they secretly hoping he gets deposed?
I don't know. I don't know. It will never look good for Keir Starmer if we lose London the year of a election year. You know, that's never good.
Do you think Jeremy Corbyn's going to stand?
I don't know. Probably. I can't see why he wouldn't.
If he stands,
it makes political sense for him.
Loses.
It makes political sense for him to stand because he'll lose a lot of grassroots support amongst the Labour membership. There's a lot of them in the North London kind of CLPs.
Well, let me just bring Jack in because I have to go to a break. Just in terms of the London mayoral election, I'm very aware that not everyone lives in London, but it is an important election. Just in terms of that, what's your sense about Sadiq Khan, how popular or unpopular he is in London, and whether you think there will actually be a change? Because he relies on certain groups to vote for him to get him across that threshold.
Well, I think when you talk to people in London, he does seem to be pretty unpopular. I think at best people are pretty apathetic about his performance, but they're certainly not satisfied about crime, about ULEZ, about housing. And I think the really significant thing is because the supplementary vote system's been abolished, actually I think this is going to be much, much closer than last time, and potentially we will see a change because he is just so unpopular.
Really fascinating stuff. I'm just thank you for the moment. We have to go to a break. I just want to make it absolutely clear we don't condone the carrying of any offensive weapon, and the scenes obviously in London are absolutely shocking and mirrored around the country as well.